Welcome back to Genting and Resorts World Genting, high up in the mountains, and the mountain has almost been climbed by Newbee. They lead by 2-1 in the grand final as we'll head into our fourth game very shortly. We'll also be talking about potential draft picks as well with our panel members once more. Purge, Malini, and ODPixel, welcome back every one of you. It's been an exciting tournament all the way through. I think we've enjoyed day one all the way through to day three. Always very different, it seems, every day. I mean, you said earlier like day one was started a bit slow. I think, didn't you describe actually day 1 and 2 like a Dota game?
Yeah, pretty much. Day one, just really clear advantage, and then the game was over, and then just adjustment happened. And by day 3, now it's very draft heavy. I feel like. I mean, the draft was important in the first day as well, but these last couple series, one game, one team will look amazing, the other team will look amazing. But that said, though, I think Newbee has consistently been playing better. DC, even in the game that they won, they played real sloppy, and they got to stop doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit to all three of you, and I'm sure you're the same. I do pray at the Church of Ice Frog.
Okay.
I do believe in the religion of Dota2. But I have to say, when 7 came out, I was a little bit worried, because we'd had such a great year in 2016. It was a fabulous year at Dota. Just some incredible games. I mean, the EG home game, the Finham games at Boston. There were just so many things that I just enjoyed about Dota 2 last year. And you kind of worry when it changes so much that, whoa, are we going to get that next year? All those worries are gone in the first week of 2017. I can't wait to see how this pans out over the whole year.
Well, I think what I'm most excited about is Juggernaut finally getting the nerf he deserves. I mean, the talent trees, they had to be, when they were introduced, they didn't necessarily know how much it would affect everything, but it's safe to say that those heroes are still very good, and I think it's time. I want Jug to die.
You're such a Jug hater, Purge.
I'm just sick of watching.
You're almost as
That's so wrong.
You hate Jug almost as much as Sir Action Slacks hates Rubik.
He's too easy.
It's too damn conservative, you know. Like, it's like, oh wow, you're laning Jug so you can spin and dodge ganks. Like, get ganks. That's more fun.
Have you had some rough games recently against Jugs?
I've just watched a lot of Jug games the last 3 days.
Yeah, no, there have been, haven't there? Yeah, an awful lot. I mean, are you looking forward, obviously, to 2017? It's going to be an exciting year for Dota again.
I certainly am.
But it's. Do you share that kind of a few concerns early on of like it's changed so much? Oh my God!
I mean, as a caster, you're kind of like, well, this is my career, and now I've got to kind of learn it all from scratch again. But at the same time, you know, there's a lot of enjoyment in that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Christmas.
I mean, it must be exciting for you as a commentator, isn't it? Because you just don't know what's going to go on there.
It is, and you know, I've got to speak even faster because there's more that I've got to talk about. I've got to talk about talent trees. I've got to talk about shrines. It's going to have to be. I mean, you know, the amount of stuff that was added in, as you already mentioned, is really, really refreshing to see that even though there was this huge change, we're still seeing a lot of variety from the patch. We're seeing a lot of different strats being viable, a lot of teams, you know, not necessarily prioritizing the same kind of first picks. And we're seeing kind of cool, cute little new things coming through, like the magic build on the Ember, just things that you wouldn't have seen last patch. It's really switched things up, but at the same time, it's kept the game as exciting as it is.
Yeah, really looking forward to those pubs with Vanguard Invoker.
I would like to see more like magic builds, though. Like
not that bad. It's going to be deadly for like the
It's got 100% win rate here.
Oh. Please, Owen, don't make it worse.
He just needs raw HP.
All right.
It's cheap.
Can you do a video on it for me next week?
It's not worth it. It's fine.
Really?
It's not
Is it that easy? Can you tell me afterwards?
You literally just buy Vanguard and you have HP. And you get a Maelstrom and you're good.
And you be Weehaw, and then you win.
And you become Weehaw for the day.
Helps, yeah.
Malini, obviously looking forward to the year. What are you looking forward to most? Is it the meta and how it changes? Is it particularly how talent trees are used? Is it how shrines are used? What is it you're looking forward to?
I think talent trees. I think they're probably due for a rework for some of the spell ones, because some of the spell ones sound so good, but they're never gotten, and they're terrible. Like the -7 second shadow rays cooldown or whatever. Like that sounds great, and then you have like 100 something attack range, but people always take the attack range because the other ones just sucks at level 25. So I think the spell ones have to be like extremely good at 25 for them to be gotten. Or like Gyrocopter, he has like +4 flat cannon charges or +3 missiles. Like +3 missiles, that sounds amazing. But it's just terrible.
I'm very curious how the balance design will go for that. Like, because are you going to take a hero like Gyro, unplayed, and are you going to try to fix the bad ones that nobody grabs, or do you buff the ones that people do grab? I feel like you always buff the ones that nobody grabs.
Yeah, I think so too.
But by doing that, if it doesn't beat the other talent, then it's not actually a buff for Gyrocopter is the issue. You see what I mean?
But it could buff the other roles though. You could actually have like support Gyrocopter with a spell damage build. That could actually work.
I think that's the wrong way for the hero right now, personally. I think core is where he's.
Isn't that the great thing
better.
about Dota? There's like not a right way or a wrong way.
It is certainly, and talent trees open that up a lot more. But it'll be very interesting to see where IceFrog goes with these talent trees, especially on heroes that have really boring talent trees right now, like Juggernaut.
Jeez.
They're
Juggernaut
so
hater.
boring. It's
Told
like-
you.
it's
He's just a Jug hater.
15 attack speed. Ooh.
Do you,
200 damage. Or 200 HP.
what do you think about the balance of the side of the trees? Because it seems on some heroes it's pretty much straightforward. I'm just gonna do all right side tree and that's perfect and that works every time. There doesn't seem to be too many differences. I mean, for instance, you take the Marano, the top 25. Do you take the 100 leap speed or do you take the triple arrows? I mean, we've had a couple of arguments about that already. It's very dependent on the game, sure, but
Yeah.
there is a choice there. There's a definitive choice, and it can depend on what you're doing in the game. But they're not all like that.
Yeah, it really depends on the hero. Some absolutely do have a lot of necessity, especially some of the respawn timers. I've actually been seeing quite a few getting grabbed in the last day or two. A lot of people are grabbing the respawn timer thing.
But do you think that the IceFrog might look at that and kind of try and make it a bit more, I've got to decide which way, it's not quite as straightforward?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It could add 10 seconds to respawns, things like that, or increase the GPM by a little bit. We'll see things get a little wacky, I'm sure, especially the ones that don't get snagged much. Could go lots of different ways.
All right, we're going to get into the draft very shortly, and you'll be pleased to hear that we're into Game 4 right now, or maybe not. If you haven't been joining us, then you've missed out on some cracking Dota, that's for sure. Game 2 is particularly a good one. I won't spoil it for you, but pop back and watch the VOD. Turn away now if you don't want to know the score. Good, you're gone. 2-1 right now in favour of Newbee. They are on the verge of claiming the first championship in 2017. We're going into the draft very shortly. Malini, where's this going now? Which way do you see Newbee going? I mean, they've been very steady all the way through the.
It's more important
through
what
the,
DC
through the
does.
tournament. Yeah, exactly. Because they've been steady. We've not seen anything crazy from them either in this grand final or actually over the 3 days.
Yeah, I think they need to do something in the first two that makes the crowd go ooh. Like, I think they need to catch Newbee off guard with the first two and make them kind of think about that's not quite what we were expecting. How do we actually handle it? Even a Necrophos might be good too because we saw that Wings used it. You know, if they go for a Sardar opener again.
Do they have someone in DC? Do you think can pick that up?
I think
I'm sure
they could.
I'm sure we feel confident playing it.
Yeah. Anything like that, I
He's
think
been
would
practicing
be
it as well.
anything like that. I think would be good for them.
Yeah, Owen.
I think we're going to expect Newbee to be very likely to stick with kind of what they achieved in terms of the draft opening in the game we just saw. Ban out that Naga Siren, ban out that Meepo. I mean, as we've seen, two heroes that DC are incredible with this Naga. They can win games, even when, you know, admittedly, there are a few blunders in the performance, but because they're so solid on relying on the way that Rezo plays that hero, I would be surprised if Newbee do let that through the opening. By all means, you know, Newbee, maybe they feel that they've got a bit of a better play style, a bit of a better plan. Yeah, if they feel more threatened by the Underlord. Obviously, we saw in that last game, they didn't ban the Underlord. They picked it themselves. Maybe they don't want to play it again. You know, so in that case, they almost certainly are going to have to ban it. Because if you actually look back at Newbee's kind of record as well, in the last month, Underlord is the most banned hero. They always ban this hero, that they really respect the power. They're terrified about it. And as we saw, you know, they don't want to let you have it, and if they're not banning it, they're maybe feeling too pressured to pick it up themselves.
Yeah. Also, I think a little bit of Dire Radiant comes into play here in terms of whether they get first pick, second pick, whatever. Because presumably if they only get one pick at the start, are they going to pick Underlord and ban the other two? Are they going to pick it first?
I think it's an okay opening, but it's generally better to pair it with another hero that puts you on this teamfight path, just since Underlord does kind of just resist the amount of damage that your opponents do. He's not the flashiest hero in terms of damage output, but it's very much a lots of control, lots of damage mitigation, lots of heals, lots of farm. That's the kind of thing that allows your team just to survive an extra 10, 15 seconds in a team fight, and that can absolutely make a difference if you have a tanky core that's a little fragile.
Of course, the risk they pose, of course, if they're going to stick with the bans that they've had before, which is the Meepa and the Naga, then they could potentially give it away. If they give it away,
it seems DC's scared to pick the Underlord, at least. Or
you think so? I mean, they picked it before. I think that's why we saw the Respect ban first. I mean, they paired it with the IO before as well, which I thought was brilliant.
I mean, they could have picked it last game, but they grabbed Jug
as
well as Rubik. The Rubik has been okay, but again, when it gets behind, it's not very good.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting draft as well. In terms of the mid matchups, SCCC, we've always said he's been fantastic all the way through. Do you see any changes again?
He's gotten a lot more help from his support. crew.
I think it was better in that third game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got equal support as game 2. The difference is that we didn't just like kill people repeatedly before he died. It's so much harder on Odie. You know, you don't have the same kind of burst. He basically would have to cast Astral on the guy that's about to stun him. That's the only way he gets out. It's a lot harder on Odie. Hopefully DC will be able to pick their mid matchup last. That would make a big difference. That's what they got to do in game 2. They got to pick a hero that gave them a good matchup. Ursa versus Ember Spirit. Game 3, it's not the same. OD versus SF.
I mean, Misery's a clever captain. I think a lot of what happened in that game too was in his head. He was thinking, okay, how can we get them to pick something that we have the counter for, but we also know they might ban something for because we're quite good at it. And it was that kind of that trio of Ember, Invoker, Ursa. Is there any other tricks Misery's got you think that might allow the draft to go his team's way?
Yeah, we talked about some of them. It's almost always banned out though.
I feel like in some ways they feel like they might have the draft figured out in some ways, but they're always getting this like wrench thrown in at the end. That I feel like that happened certainly in that last game. Happened game 1 especially. They looked confident with their draft, but all of a sudden the OD just shut down everything. Maybe there's some like 4th and 5th pick areas where Newbee is finally just solidifying an outdraft in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting actually. Look back on the Wings game and you compare it in terms of draft. It always seemed that DC were more comfortable having 2 picks and starting on Radiant. And that was in game 2 as well today. Do you think that's any
Radiant
plays into it?
They've had good win rates in pubs at least. Possibly for reasons like the Radiant jungle's a little bit easier to defend in some ways. There's a lot of paths. The off lanes maybe a bit simpler. Ancient area maybe too, but
yeah,
it's
I mean,
hard to
it's
say.
56-50 right now in pub games. In other games in 701. And it's only 52%, just above 52% in terms of Radiant. So it's got the advantage, but here it's much higher. It's 15 games and 11, so 15 wins and 11 to Radiant. But interestingly, when it's Newbee playing, it's 3 and 6.
So they're better at Dire.
Yeah, and they have prioritised Dire. I don't know if they've been Dire all 3 games today. I think they may have, but they were on something like a 17-18 Dire game run.
They have been spending a lot of time in Radiant jungle. That's one thing I noticed about their playstyle. I'm not sure what else there is that really gives them a huge advantage about Dire's side, but
I think that's enough to compensate for the discrepancy. Being able to sweep that jungle.
Still early, and there's limited amount of games in the database right now, so it's it's a little bit of speculation. We haven't taken account of everything that's going on, but it'll be interesting to see how far it goes. We are going to take a little break here on the desk, but not a break from the show, because instead we're going to catch up with Eri right now, who's down somewhere in the crowd.
Thank you very much, Paul. We are here in the middle of the crowd. Hey, Malaysia, you still with me? You still with us? That's good. We would like to say hi to everyone watching from NTV7. What's up, guys? Thank you. We are live in national TV right here. There you go. Obviously, it's been a very hard-fought grand final. You guys enjoying the grand final? You guys enjoying it? You guys are so hype. I gotta say, you guys are so hype. But of course, during this time, these are very crucial times for both teams. What we need now is you gotta motivate the team. You gotta give them an emotional message, tell them how you feel, and get them lift up their spirits. And who knows, maybe that would help in, of course, bringing up their spirits even more. And you might be the one that would help them win this whole tournament. So what I need now I need a fan of DC, and I need an emotional fan of Newbee. You're a fan of? DC? DC, okay, DC fan over here. I need an emotional Newbee. Newbee right, oh look at this, he's already ready to cry, I can see it. He's ready. Okay. Okay. Stay right there. I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna go to this man first. Come here. Come here. Okay? How do you wanna do this? Do you wanna do this sitting down? Do you wanna do this standing up? Do you wanna do this dramatically? Do you wanna hold on to a fence, kind of like your barricade? You wanna do it like, how do you wanna do it?
It's up to you. It's up to you.
Okay, now, sit down. You can sit down. I want you to speak directly to the team, okay? Do you wanna address anyone over to the team? Do you want to address anyone?
No, to everyone, to resolution, misery. I forgot.
It's okay. It's okay.
We have resolution, misery, moonminder, and success.
Yes. Woo. He's just nervous, guys. Good thing you went it back because we're live on national TV. Everyone's gonna know. But you're fine. He's nervous, okay? Now, usually the nervous thing is good because you're emotional and you're sincere. Now, I just want you to bare your heart to the team and just tell them just something. Who knows? Maybe they're listening. I don't know. Okay, so what's your name?
Audi.
Audi. Okay, motivate DC. You can do it. Motivate them. Tell them how you feel. Here you go.
Okay, guys, it's 2-1, and I think you all got this, and please do it all with all your heart, and we're gonna support you no matter what. Go DC!
I can see that you're tearing up a little bit, and you're touching.
Holding it.
And you're touching yourself. That's good. That's good. That's fantastic. In his chest, his heart. Okay, good job, buddy. Very emotional. Good job. Give him some love. Very nice. Because you did that, we are actually now back, and everything's working great. So we can get back to the match. Newbee, I'm gonna come back to you in a little bit later, okay? In case we need to come back. So just sit tight. But in the meantime, we're gonna throw it back to Paul, and we're gonna get this game back on track. Let's go.
Thanks very much, Eric. Yeah, we are back and ready to rock and roll in game number 4. Draft is underway, so let's drop you into the draft right away. There we go. It's all good. It's all good. We're all fine. And we have bans already. Interestingly, DC have banned the Naga. Are you confused, Purge?
Are these sides right?
I wonder if the overlay's wrong. I'm unsure. It feels weird for Newbee to ban Rubik to me, just because it's felt a little ineffective, but it's entirely possible that it's been.
It is arguably one of the most comfortable picks for DC.
Sides are definitely swap.
Are these?
Are they though?
Is the mind games ban?
Is it?
We won't know until they get in game.
I guess we assume that they're right for now. So Underlord, as it looks, picked up by DC. Following with the Luna. SD and Sand King straight away in return from Newbee.
I'm going to open Dota2 and double check.
Okay. So, we did.
It is the wrong way around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you can see there on the main screen. Yeah, so we've got that fixed for you guys here in the crowd. Hopefully we'll be able to get that for you as well at home. So indeed,
so DC are on Dire.
Yeah.
I've had that confirmed.
Makes a lot of sense. Newbee grabbing the same 2 heroes that were really effective with them in the last game. Shadow Demon gets through. Sucks the Shadow Demon's fantastic. The question is what illusion hero will we pair it with? Jug is usually the standard one, just because he's your backup if Luna's gone.
I think they picked it because they knew that Newbee would open with the Luna again. Because the Juggernaut has not had like the best of win rates. He seemed to be countered pretty decently. And in the previous drafts, they actually banned it out in the first phase. But virtus.pro like, why do we ban it? It's not like they're going to take it, especially if they have Underlord left in the point, especially the results of last game. So I think they kind of use it to deal with the Luna and deal with the team fight.
And the other cool part is DC hasn't fully revealed their lanes yet. This could be 2 supports, could be offlane Sand King. And both are pretty amp focused. Magic damage from Sand King, Shadow Demon will have Soul Catcher. Those are very capable at killing Underlord. And definitely capable of pressuring Luna in lane 2 if they want to aggro. Could put Sand King in a 1v1 versus Overlord. I feel like that's pretty good for SK.
Yeah, we saw that. I thought it was good for SK too, but looking at the matchup, it seemed like Underlord was ahead of CS by like 30-40%.
He'll definitely accelerate way past after Sand King starts leaving lanes, but it's a pretty safe opening.
We do certainly like to seem to pick up either the OD or the Juggernaut when they do play against teams that have selected Luna.
I think Quap's also pretty good. The heavy magic burst just poses up a lot of problems for the Luna, and it's really quick too. It's really hard to react to. So take out the Omni Knight. Is there any cheese left for DC?
This is looking heavily like an Ursa game for DC, I think. Good against Underlord, good against Luna. He's got good backup too with Shadow Demon Sand King. I feel like that's so far an obvious pick. They definitely still need to combo something with Shadow Demon though. Maybe Lifestealer, maybe Jug's maybe the obvious one. But he's not quite the best for team fights. It's like he can survive. He can just spin when the Eclipse comes out, but you know, he's got to worry about his teammates too.
A lot of times with this Lunar Underlord Newbie, they like to stick with the Witch Dog to pick. Still around at the ready. Ogre, of course, another one of their favorites that has yet to be touched in the draft so far.
Why is the Spirit banned? Considering the two things you've just pointed out. And they have played a lot of Witch Doctor as well.
Oh, they needed a hero for Kaka, right? Sand King's already been taken up.
Yep.
Disruptor, Rubik.
Morano's gone.
Yeah, Mirana's gone. Now Earth Spirit. They like that really heavy team fighting support, the heavy magic damage that was provided by that position. So, as Odie mentioned, Witch Doctor will be the support of choice. For them.
Nothing too surprising there at all.
No, third game in a row.
No Juggernaut. Kevin, are you happy?
Don't speak too early, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it comes.
Any second.
Here it comes.
Any second.
Nah, that's fine. Still a decent Jug game. Just got to get more Omni Slashes, successful ones.
I feel like Lifestealer might be a little bit better though than Jug. I feel like the burst is much more reliable versus someone like Underlord. I don't know. How do you think it would have fared last game if they had a Lifestealer instead of Jug? I guess it's hard to say.
I mean, the Jug would have been better if he just got a couple more kills, honestly. It would have made a big difference.
Yeah.
And they needed a little more impact out of their mid lane in the team fights. So I think it was more an issue of the OD having a bit of a rough game than it was of the Jug. I think Jug will work completely fine if they want to go for that.
The thing is about Jug, it's really hard to get solo kills because Newbee, like, what % of the game are they just all 5? Where I think Omni Slash is much weaker in that 5-on-5 as opposed to like 3-on-2,
Okay.
2-on-2.
Like this a lot. So
Well, it's not like we haven't seen this before.
it's a support pick really popularized, especially at Boston by Complexity, but DC's been drafting it a lot lately as Misery plays it. Got Shadow Demon Disruption into Leshrax's setup stun. Good damage output as well. Very good damage output out of Lesh. They're a bit weak to physical damage right now. I feel like DC's heroes, they're going to need some frontliners maybe, but great disables to open up. So I think this may be why. Ooh, okay.
Well, we saw this pairing, the Wisp Underlord, earlier on in the tournament, by their opponents, and it was very useful.
They're going to be all over the place.
Oh,
Okay.
Immediately starting to help kind of keep control of that global presence and hunt them down.
It does limit their team fight a little bit, though. Bounty definitely has some issues with that, but he's pretty good at using both Witch Doctor and IO, actually. Witch Doctor's stun against a single target, very weak, 1 second. So Bounty can definitely pressure these guys. Does this mean core Lesh?
I was going to say, with that pickup, I mean, they do normally put indeed the Lesh to support, but
I actually kind of like it a lot. As long as there isn't a Slardar in the enemy team, I think Lesh could definitely work here as a core. Just because Underlord obviously resisting magic damage or resisting physical damage output. Lesh doesn't care.
I think we'll get the answer with the ban.
I mean, is there no way it could be the core ban? I know people kind of joke about it being
Core who?
viable in
Core
this
Bounty?
match. Could
Oh yeah, we were joking about it. 1 second Janata. It's great.
That's the worst thing I've heard.
It's only at level 25 that you get
I was
it.
on a panel side.
Guys, give it up. Purge just shut you down, okay?
There's no way. Oh god.
Nope, nope, and nope.
No. Would not be good. Oh, they're smiling about something.
Oh yeah.
What are they so
Very
excited?
excited.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They just figured something out.
oh, it couldn't be, could it?
Spirit Breaker?
No, they're not thinking of. No, no. I mean, they could. Could they think about the Huskar Newbie? There's a lot of magic damage, physical.
I like that idea.
Okay, well, this ban is very important right now for DC.
Is that what they're having a giggle about?
It would be good against Lesh. It's actually quite good.
Because they may have figured out Lesh is the core as well. We'll know, surely, after this ban.
I like the Huskar a lot.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic here.
I don't think anyone really picks him this patch though. How are his talents? I don't remember at all.
His level 25 is pretty cool. Gives you like 400 range on your ult. Just fly around the fight. He's got movement speed, damage, lifesteal. Yeah, it's good values, but pretty average, boring stuff.
It's good enough.
It would certainly combo with the whole survivability thing out of the IO. as well as Witch.
Oh, they're still smiling.
They are.
Okay.
Ah.
So DC go for the Slark.
Okay, so
Mid-lesh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the pairing. What is going to be the matchup for the mid lane here?
Are we going to get a surprise from Newbee? We haven't had that many from them throughout the tournament. They've been pretty steady all the way through. I could say the Wisp is a little bit of a surprise. Not a major surprise, but a little one.
They have got some very confident smiles.
Are they about to throw us a complete crazy hero?
They could still pick like OD or something like that.
Should do.
Just banish whoever gets stunned or disruption.
And instead, they're going to pull out the DK.
It's very 5-man.
Okay, well, a very intriguing draft indeed. Is this the end of the road for DC? Are Newbee about to wrap things up, or are we going all square? We're going to find out over the course of the next game. Game 4 is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. Let's head back to your commentators, Capitalist and Toby One.
Will this be it? That is a very good question. Digital Chaos going with a unique and interesting draft, I use inverted commas, in the air, up against Newbee's strength, stability, and tried, true, and tested draft. Capitalist. Does DC have it? It's different. It's a really, and I love the analysts if they could predict this, a two-position Leshrac.
I don't think DC has this.
It does look rough.
I have an open mind because 7.0 is a new patch, and honestly, I don't know Dota like these guys, so I'm just along for the ride at this point, Toby. They picked up, I feel it's very... We've seen how the Underlord goes with Newbee. We also know Newbee's playstyle. They will be very much grouped up. I feel like the Bounty Hunter does not give you any team fight potential. He'll give you a lot of information early, and maybe they're going to try and win lanes off of that information and off the roaming of the Bounty Hunter. But when it comes down to the mid game where Newbee start grouping up,
It's Disco Pony.
Jesus. When it comes to the mid game where Newbee start grouping up and they're pushing down these towers, Bounty Hunter is not going to offer you anything in response to that.
Yeah, there's a reason.
I'm trying to be serious about your analysis of the game. Come on. You're messing with my monologue here.
He's even all chatting, and Newbee would have no idea what he's on about. He may be really sad, though, if Newbee actually achieve what I think they're trying to do. You can Disco Pony all the hell you want to, but if you actually end up having your head mounted on a wall by Newbee, you're not going to be so happy. They're smoke maneuvering up. With the Observer Ward, you'll see Moon moving down. Now, Moon has no idea. Okay, now we caught a glimpse of U9. They realized that Newbee were aggressively pushed up there.
Man, I really wanted Wii to die just to stop that.
Wow.
Anyway.
Such a non-biased
Talk about the
presented by Cap.
Okay, so the Bounty Hunter is not going to be able to provide you a whole lot of team fight power, right? Like, when Newbee are grouped up, Bounty Hunter's not going to provide much. And Slark is also one of those heroes that I feel like doesn't really fit this patch right now because of the fact that by the time he picks up his Shadow Blade, that's usually about the time that the enemy team is planning on grouping up a lot more and pressuring these objectives. So I feel like both of those heroes are going to have a tough time being able to actually give DC the team fight they needed. That being said, I really like the Leshrac pickup, even if it turned out to be a 2 position, which I didn't expect at all. I thought they needed this sort of overwhelming damage to be able to break through Newbee's sustain, but it's going to be even harder this time around. They don't have just Underlord and Witch Doctor, they have the Wisp too.
Yep. I like this quick maneuver coming in from that IO. Kaka up to the top lane, realizing the gank is going to happen at some point, so he tethers forward, works with the Underlord to try and fight. Interesting use of smoke. That's going to be a big, big waste. They wanted that for the next rotation.
That was
potentially.
That was the distraction smoke.
Yeah, I put it in your eyes, bottom lane. Faith really low. Moon actually able to find that kill. It was the range creep that got it. That should never have happened.
Moon Meander. Making things happen in a 1v2 off the SK. He is trying to abuse this lane real hard, and with that early pickup, as long as he doesn't feed a kill, nice setup going into the Caustic Finale.
Yeah, but that paralyzing cast bounces straight back down again. Moon so low, U9, they don't see him. Moon into the tree lines and far, far away. The second tree to the right and straight on till morning.
Goddamn, Moon is just styling on this bottom lane. I'm loving what he's doing here. He's abusing the fact that Sand King's Caustic Finale is so strong against the Luna because she's basically a melee hero. So they're just left with this Witch Dogger to try and bully Moon Meander back, but he seems to have found the opening to punish that support too. And he's going to do it again. He's going to go for Faith here. He might actually be able to get this kill. The Wisp is going to be able to come in with the tether.
Yeah, now paralyzing caster. Something for it to bounce over to, but Moon, he is so low on life, and with the aura, another sandstorm, they trigger the dust. The vision's there, and also the slow thing comes along with it, but he seals the bounty. There isn't enough mana run away, so the loser beam, one more attack from Faith will do the job, and Moon will finally be put down.
Meanwhile, in top lane, KP's being gone on. He's big and he's tanky, so the pounce really doesn't hold him well enough.
You still got disruption, though. You got disruption and catcher.
Block him in.
Wait until he gets far enough from the creep wave that the catcher can connect. KP.
Oh God, it's gonna be close.
No! He's away. Resolution didn't have the damage output.
His pounce was coming up too. It was gonna be that extra nuke that could have actually finished off that tanky offlaner, but the Underlord escapes once again, 1-1 now.
Big
Mystery.
timings, but you also look towards the mid lane in a second.
Yeah.
There is a bottle that requires ferrying, and Misery is, well, he's not patiently waiting. He wants to keep moving over, and in fact, that just now pushes the courier back just an inch further.
I don't think Misery.
And that's the reason why it's now flying and taking it into the mid.
Yeah.
Unless Misery hits the timing again, but he's just a second too late.
Yeah, he doesn't have Janata, so on the way back, you really need that extra physical damage to kill a flying courier.
Unworthy.
This is rough. I don't think Misery's gotten a whole lot accomplished here. I've been watching the mid lane. Maybe he's been, no, but SC's 15-4, so his CS looks very good.
Yeah. They've harassed up a little bit, but it hasn't been much more than that. SC's been quite comfortable in this lane up against Weeha, and every rotation that does happen, like the first one came out, it's like, that was nice. What'd you really get from it? SC backed up to the tower, and you destroyed SC's Observer Ward. That's what they were looking for. Eventually, you probably knew with that forward positioning it was going to be lost anyway, just because it's a standard sentry position.
Okay, so Misery is going to be using this Bounty Hunter because...
bottom lane, they got... No, Moon's backing out.
Because KP, as the Underlord, is going to be using neutral so often, it looks like Misery's planning on soaking a lot of this experience away from the Underlord.
More stolen bounties.
On the way back.
Hey, he's got Janata this time around. This courier doesn't actually have a speed burst, so Misery can jump down. He needs a second hit. He doesn't have movement speed. And he needed to hit it on the first time coming in and then on the way out over his head.
This Leshrac, I thought maybe, I didn't expect a 2-position Leshrac, but if it did get picked up, would you actually go Lightning Storm? Weeha says no. You're still going to go for the same build that you're going to see out of these support Leshracs, higher levels in Split Earth and Diabolic Edict first.
Well, you said before, like, you had that big damage, the one that's able to counter the Pit Lord or Underlord when he goes into the fights.
Yeah, that's true, and it's also going to be able to provide you some serious early pushing power that maybe DC can get, you know, a slight net worth lead using that.
That Observer Ward is still on the hillside. Moon's going to hide inside the Sandstorm. Misery comes in, but they dust him up, so the reveal is there. Disruption onto U9, still tethered to Kaka while he was inside the disruption. And just a quick back out. Moon, careful on his life, gets hit by a loser beam. Burrow strikes a little bit further away to safety, and now they'll trigger the Shrine. So DC willingly taking damage, knowing they got that regeneration.
Moonmeander's in such a great position. He has Tranquil Boots, Windlace already. He can actually pick up an infused Raindrop. They're going to be able to jump on support Faith. I don't think he stands a chance here.
Maybe with Misery in the neighborhood, the tether comes over, actually goes with Faith, not U9. U9 still has a loosen beam. There's extra TPs coming in from DC. Nothing yet from Newbee, but that's because the rotation's rotating in, but maybe too late. U9's already down. Dragon Knight is on his way, so DC will have to commit pretty heavily for the DK to punish him, and maybe Weeha will do that. Dragon Form up the Split Earth, already lands from Weeha, but he's so deep under the tower with the Breathe Fire, the damage is enough, and Moon also copying the edge of that Breathe Fire. Drops low, but not dead.
Great read there by, I can't believe SC did that. Most of the time when you see the Leshrac rotating out of that lane, most other Dragon Knights would use that opportunity to pressure the mid tower, but he seemed to have this read that, like, okay, they're gonna be able to go for such an important fight that my rotation is better to go bottom lane rather than try and take the mid tier 1, and it worked. They got the Leshrac kill, making that whole entire exchange probably worth it for Newbee.
Especially when they take this tier 1 tower with the rest of the Dragon form. SC got fresh bottles by Kaka TPing back into the bottom lane too. So the regeneration was quite simple, without even having to use something like the Shrine. So DC, this tier 1 tower with the illusions. Oh, he actually got it!
Saksa. This guy's so good.
I will not debate it after watching that. Beautiful deny. He didn't even have to use the illusions. He came in with his core hero and found it.
Dragon Knight comes right back to mid lane before Weehaw can get any damage on that tier 1.
But how do you kill him? Like, he's got strength threads already up, so you start this fight, you turn on the Edict. Misery already threw everything he had. So SC can just commit the bottle charges and get back up.
This Leshrac, I don't know. It's going to be tough. Like, I like the idea, this core Leshrac against the Underlord, right? You just ignore the passive entirely. You're still a carry that's going to be able to scale pretty well. There's nothing saying that these nuking mid laners that we used to see in the past can't see a comeback here in this kind of patch. But he is still going to have to deal with the heavy sustain, both the Witch Doctor as well as the Wisp. And later on to the game, we're not going to have just a mech on KP. He'll probably be able to pick up a pipe for the team as well.
And that's going to be really difficult for DC to deal with.
Yeah, so I think DC, like, they needed to be able to establish like good control of the lanes. I don't think they've won the laning phase by any means. So this transition period in that 10-15 minute marker, I think they have to do something big to be able to start opening up the Leshrac to snowball a bit.
Well, something big is being able to repel Newbee when they group up with that Underlord. That's going to be the big thing. Maybe with a little bit of a catch. KP wanting to fight the SD, it ain't going to happen, not with the disruption. So they all just harass each other, but it's the bottom lane. Faith getting Burrow Strike, allowing Moon a little bit more space to get away. He'll dodge. Actually, no, he doesn't dodge the paralyzing cast. They got the vision up. The dust is already on him. Burrow Strike up in 1 second time, so Moon will have the distance to get away if things get a little bit hairy, but he will be fine.
One of the big advantages of the Bounty Hunter, all this aggressive vision that's going down, but Newbee did manage to scout this ward.
SC is not wanting to let Weehaw have free Edict damage onto the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, he's just kind of stationed up, making sure that, because I think that the group up of Newbee is going to happen more around the 20-minute marker. You want to be able to have that mech first on the Underlord, some levels on the Dragon Knight, and Luna needs a decent amount of progression in farm before you start 5-manning, right? So I think that like the 15-minute marker is where DC can possibly exploit Newbee the most.
Oh, all right, Weehaw. He's been waiting in this Invis room for a while. He's able to get the stun. Support's coming in from Resolution. Disruption starts up from the Shadow Demon with the catch. Resolution pounces in. He gets the leash over on SC, but with a tether on, SC is doing more damage to Resolution. The Burrow Strike in from Moon. The extra stun for the Rune. And it's SC staying alive. How does he do it? Bounty Hunter will be the one to die. Everybody from Newbee came. The whole kit and caboodle, and now they're going to go in even deeper to the tier 1 tower with the fire. This is turning into a disaster. It was DC who went and had the sweet spot, but Newbee smack him back down.
I mean, Digital Chaos took the Wisp challenge. You know, the Wisp got the tether out on a Dragon Knight, and they're like, doesn't matter, we'll have enough damage to burst him down. But Newbee, rapid on the rotations. They realized, so as soon as the heroes started going on Dragon Knight, hey, we need everybody here. And the combination, the Witch Doctor and Wisp was enough to keep the Dragon Knight alive. And even if that didn't happen, even if SC died, I think Newbee still take the better of that engagement by pushing forward with the rest of their heroes.
And now they're going to progress even harder. You're getting closer and closer towards that mech. You've actually got the Dominator running around on the Courier for U9 is turning itself up. This is a big danger zone for Digital Chaos. They're actually holding a half-decent lead leading into that fight around 1,400 in the net worth, and they had the experience advantage too. But this is where the swing kicks in for Newbee. And they're already looking to pressure it. Up to the tier 1 tower on top lane, and Digital Chaos look like they don't look in any good shape to try and take this fight. You still don't have resolution with that Shadow Blade yet.
Yeah, so they're doing like a 3-man group up while Luna still continues to farm. Luna's not going to be the best hero, though, to push back Weehaw from this mid-tier 1. You can see how fast it's dropping to this level 4.
They're jumping forward. There goes your disruption already. Just more safety as bottom lane where the kill is happening. Again, the Bounty Hunter really close onto the tower. That's a level 4, just shy of 5 Bounty Hunter.
Nice Dark Rift play. Saves a little bit of grief. They still get the mid-tier 1 tower, pretty important. Weehaw may be caught by U9 with the jump forward here on the
He doesn't have Eclipse with
with the double stun.
You can go straight to the epicenter. This will be huge amounts of damage. U9 will fall. And DC finally catch themselves a break. The tower, a kill. They got Kaka as well as U9.
Man, that was that was really good by Moonmeander. He takes that Dark Rift play at bottom lane and he pushes forward through the dire jungle and wraps on mid like that to be able to find this beautiful opportunity. That 3-man up at the top lane from Newbee, they thought they were going to be able to do that without getting punished, but DC do manage to just have enough power, it seems, in the tank to be able to get the better of the exchange. Mid tier 1, again, I always prefer to be able to keep my mid towers alive as long as possible, and so I think that is advantageous for DC, and obviously getting that 2-man burrow strike into the kill on the Luna is huge.
Yeah, that's massive for them because it's also the space created for Resolution. Finishes up his treads, got his Shadow Blade up and running too, so now Resolution, the top net worth on the field, becomes a hunter. And with Misery just hitting level 6, now the Bounty Hunter will also start playing catch-up.
Newbee, they're grouping up pretty early, but they may be falling into the trap. Moonmeander's gonna have his Blink Dagger, so they're thinking the Slark has his Shadow Blade. We need to group up more, make sure that, you know, this combination of Bounty Hunter and Slark can't actually find these pigs. But they may be stumbling into a nasty, nasty team fight with this early Blink.
Yeah, and thanks to DC backing out, they will actually have a favorable position for the fight. Moon was, while having that Blink Dagger is great, he wasn't ready to engage. He has to TP out to the Shrine if he's going to come forward. And looks like Newbee just going to have to force the issue. But how do you do this? You've still got Resolution farming up on the top lane. His TP's on cooldown for 13 more seconds. So it's more of a tower trade-off at this point with a 4-man smoke group from DC, maybe to catch out Newbee when they move to the top lane.
Yeah, I think they may be expecting either relocate play or a Dark Rift play up to top lane, and they're going to try and set up preemptively this position, because I don't think they felt comfortable being able to contest bottom without like that bottom tier 1, because they just weren't there in time to set up, right? So instead, they're just like, okay, we're gonna give this up.
They can take the tier 2. They get the fortification out from Radiant's side.
Yeah, it's unfortunately because Newbee just kept going. Now it's gonna be DC forced to go for. Oh,
Here's the rift. Here's the rift. It's coming smack bang.
Here comes the
epicenter. The epicenter from
he canceled it.
Oh wait,
nice
no.
bait.
So the epicenter is wasted, and now Newbee are going to go in through the bottom. They're attacking into the tier 3 tower. KP just mind game them. With no epicenter, DC may not have the damage at all.
Oh, Newbee just got free. Half the health of the tier 3 tower is gone because of that. They should be able to make a clean retreat.
Resolution's out. He sees the courier. He'll snipe it up quickly. This will reveal his position, but he still has that Shadow Dance available. So the tossed out from Misery. They find, okay, tethered down from Kaka. He's got 12 one charges, but he's got nothing else to jump to. So the IO will be a casualty.
Yeah,
not Digital Chaos clean up the mid, the bottom.
Not the clean retreat that I was hoping for, but still losing the Wisp, not that big of a deal. He's pretty far down there in the net worth chart, and he isn't even level 6 yet. He's just a sliver of experience. He's been grouped up with his team so much that he's actually quite under-leveled.
Rez is going to finally bring down that tier 1 tower in bottom lane with no backdoor regeneration. It's simple enough for a Slark, who's already got his level of farm, just to chip it out. A lot of confidence for KP just to stand in the mid lane as Bounty Hunter tracks him. He didn't even flinch, just kept farming.
Moonmeander gets a good amount of damage on the U9, but he needed someone
They found
else.
SC. They actually found SC. Resolution's going to get the leash off with a quick track up. They've got the catcher. SC is just too much damage. Disruption will be there. Purge was already on him, but where's the help? You've got Kaka. Tether in, but it wasn't enough life. Now it's up to KP to create a little bit more space underneath that tier 2 tower. They will force DC away.
Once again, we see this Leshrac being really the determining factor. Very few heroes can output this amount of damage, physical or magical, this early on to the game. Not even the Wisp Tether was going to be able to save that Dragon Knight.
And it's the hunting of Resolution. He's being involved in more and more now. 8.6k on the net worth. A very, very far way ahead of the Dragon Knight, who's now just actually going in for more of a defensive item with that BKB as his next item of choice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. We might have an engagement first, but I think the idea on the Leshrac is a pretty interesting one, because you need this like overwhelming damage to be able to burst down heroes against, I think it's Strong versus Luna, and then the Underlord in general. Like, you just want to be able to get a quick numbers advantage, I think, against this hero. You just need the incredible amount of offensive power. And what we've seen in the past is like teams try like maybe an Ursa or something, you know, a hero that jumps onto one hero, and even if you do have a bit of a heal, it just doesn't matter because he builds up so much damage.
No tier 2 tower. I think Karka's dead. Resolution starts with the attack, then leashes him up. U9 tries to get a little bit of space, but Karka just couldn't regenerate in time. So Resolution on the run, but he still, again, has that Shadow Dance up his sleeve, so he knows he's safe.
One of the big advantages of Leshrac is that he's not kited around like many of those other heroes, because Underlord also has this incredibly annoying ability in Pit of Malice that is able to kite most of these melee heroes that try and make their initiation and get that quick pick. They're just stopped in their tracks by Pit of Malice. Leshrac doesn't have quite the same problem, right? He's more of this like station, like he's just kind of sitting there just outputting a ton of AoE damage. So you kind of have to focus your attention into him. That's not something Underlord's good at, right? He's more good at being able to like get this sort of reactionary style. You don't necessarily think of Underlord and Underlord lineups being like the jump in and be able to focus one hero. This is going to be more like this ball that just pushes forward into DC. And DC have poked and prodded and weakened this ball enough that they might be able to still win out in the mid game where Newbee should be their strongest.
I also love the fact too that like that Lesh right in the second position, he's got so much farm early on that he has become so tanky. Shadow Demon. Well, KP wants to get the root off. He's able to do so. SD into the tree lines, but SD's got more than enough damage to kill him off. So you could say goodbye to him, but again, Moon forcing the top lane. Resolution and Weeha with the Lightning and now potentially Edict. No fortification available. This tier 2 tower will fall. The trade-off will be the tier 2 tower in mid and Newbee. They have the choice again. Do they want to come back on top lane? Moon's brought the creep wave under the tier 3 tower. So if Newbee are going to commit to this, they've got to commit now. TPs are on the way back for DC. They attack into the tier 3 tower. Weeha's the first one, so let the Lightning start bouncing out. And Newbee, as 5, they are looking to retreat. Misery and Resolution in through the rear. It's AP, they want to pull them all out at the moment. They're trying to push him out, but no, they grab the head, they grab everybody. They bring them all back safely.
Yeah, they're just thinking, maybe I can get that quick kill on a support before that Dark Rift actually completes. Not a chance, though. KP is now picking up that Hooded Defiant, so a big magic armor upgrade for him on top of the shell that he has. Building into the eventual pipe is really going to slow down DC's burst potential.
Man, if Moon actually did manage to make that play, like if he waited like 1.5 seconds longer on that 4-star, he potentially could have stranded 4 heroes from Newbee there.
Yeah, it would have been a very sick play.
And just a little early, but he's already back to pushing in the bottom lane. So Newbee again on the hunt. They're looking for kills wherever they could possibly find them. The jump up from SC, do they have the reveal that, okay, no, Bounty Hunter is away.
And that time just bought them Roshan on DC.
Oh boy, and the attack onto the tier 3 tower. DC's getting so much on this map, on all prongs. Moon's already brought that tower down by a quarter of its life. They force a TP out, but it's a fight that's been initiated by DC. They find KP, Karka, there's no relocate. They just hold him there and try and tank through it all, but they can't do it. The root's up, Faith able to TP out. Moon still just chipping away.
He's already brought a tower down to half as well.
Yep.
This is one of my favorite things about Sand King because he instant pop creeps wave. He hits one melee creep, he burrows through, hits the range creep, and the whole entire thing explodes. So he's able to sit in these side lanes and just rapidly push out the wave faster than anyone of Newbee can actually deal with it. So their 5-man progress is just being constantly split pushed by Sand King, as well as the Leshrac, who's able to clear through waves really quickly too.
This DK getting stunned up. He's just happy that Slark isn't there yet with the Silver Edge to remove his 4 points up in Dragon Blood. The only thing that really keeps him alive in these fights.
Very unique opportunity they found in Roshan. Big part of it was the double damage that Resolution had, but also magic damage is a bit better against Roshan than it used to be. So the Leshrac actually proves to be a better force when it comes to taking Roshan, something that Newbee probably didn't take account for.
Resolution, kill on top lane. Goodbye, KP. It was really nice knowing you, but you've already been broken up, or maybe
is it goodbye, Toby?
Support's coming over. Resolution still has the Shadow Dance available. Not a lot of teammates behind him, and yep, they relocate up. Let's SC get the stun off Resolution. They need the kill. Follow the little puff of smoke running up the north lane. Resolution's got the space. Misery's coming in from behind, but Resolution is already gone. A quick track up and look to your bottom lane.
Yep, every single time Moonbander
They
starts
will
away.
fight. Underlord trying to get out. That won't be successful. Resolution finds
he's
the
close to the kill.
Moon9 turning on the ultimate. He didn't get anything out of that. Now the rest of DC, they know there's no big ulti. Moon, the Burrow Strike was available. He thought about it. He really did.
Then he just is like, nope, that's not what I need to do. That would be a throwing move. He's been playing incredibly well this whole entire game. He's opened up so many situations for the rest of DC. He just needs to keep it a little bit cool and calm.
There's the stun. Disruption going to help save him. Leshrac is pushing on the bottom lane. You've got Slark pushing on the top and the rest of DC knocking on the mid.
This lineup is just running Newbee all over the map, and their five-man just ball forward, never got any ground running.
As you said, this new patch 7.00, it brings a whole new era of Dota, and DC, they have found a nice little sweet spot.
Look at that. Shrine going to go down in the bottom lane already. DC,
22
solid
minutes
map
in.
control.
They can just rotate up and do the same to the second shrine. That's a huge injection of money, which is getting bigger and bigger. 15,000 is the advantage for DC on the net worth, and they were rapidly approaching the 20K in the experience.
This Silver Edge on Resolute. I mean, this is the thing. Digital Chaos, they look good for late game as well. It's not like Newbee are going to be like, okay, second part of our game plan is just going to be this carried Luna, because Slark and I think Leshrac is actually going to be pretty good going into the late game. Not to mention just the general movement, it seems like, is going to be an issue for Newbee. Even if they can win fights, they're still going to be run over the map no matter what. So they're going to have to find a lot of farm on this Luna, and they're going to have to use these relocates pretty efficiently. They're going to have to try and push out some side lanes while still being able to be a part of the team fights that DC is going to force on you. But that leaves you really susceptible to the clean initiation that Sand King brings.
Thanks to that Observer Ward, this plays safely. Only one hero was coming over. Resolution pounces. It's a little too late. It was Moon who was the one visible running down to the bottom lane under the Observer Ward, and that's the reason why into the trees and TP away.
This is a pretty cool choice by Moonmeander. Most of the time we've seen Sand Kings, they go for this max mobility build, Blink Dagger, Force Staff, and then into the Yule Scepter. Yule Scepter has been a pretty value item for a lot of Sand Kings, slight increased movement speed. The destroying of the Yule Scepter has been really valuable as well, and it in general just kind of buys you time for you to be able to blink or force again, maybe even a Burrow Strike. So that's been really valued, but the Lincoln Sphere here, if you look at this, the Dragonite Stun has been very clearly the big ability that Newbee have to be able to lock down Digital Chaos. With this Lincoln's, he can push even more fearlessly into Newbee's side of the map.
Yep. And as he bought the Blink Dagger just so that stun was a lot more effective. Resolution, he found U9, the quick pounce forward, a quick stun, means he can't even lose the beam off from this one. Weehal will arrive, but Resolution's already got it in the bag. A celebratory Moon Epicenter on the side. Was looking for the second hero, but either way, the Luna is now down for 33 seconds with no buyback.
Newbee, I think we're so set on the Slark pouncing onto the Wisp that Kaka made this play where he goes for like the tether on the creeps to try and position himself for what he thinks is an invis Slark that's on him, and TP's out, but the Slark was just locked onto the Luna the whole entire time. If Kaka hadn't gone for that tricksy play and he just, stayed there, maybe he could have gotten the relocate save onto the Luna and sacrificed himself.
But it doesn't happen, and now DC looking in towards the mid. The Dragon Form's already been triggered. It's got a couple of seconds left on a bottom lane is where Moon's initiating. The tracks just keep building. So DC have the nice vision they need, but they're not going to force the issue yet. We're still looking towards finishing that BKB before they go high ground.
Yeah.
There's no reason for DC to risk anything. Roshan potentially spawns up in just over 2 minutes. Just wait and keep the status quo.
You've got some really strong pickups that are going to be coming in soon. The Abyssal Blade and BKB, they change the nature of team fights for Digital Chaos, and I think it's an absolute must. They cannot go high ground. High ground is still very difficult to push into. The multitude of shrines, they also have extremely good sustain. Shrines are particularly strong with some of these sustained heroes. Medusa, we saw the way it worked with her because of the health mana interaction. Wisp has a similar situation from a support location, right? So they need to be careful with their high ground pushes. They gain super early control of the whole entire map. They don't need to progress into high ground, I would say, until maybe second Aegis, where they've got the BKB. there is really no rush. Like, they can even wait until they just get like the right pick off.
The Shark attacks, and Faith devoured by the jaws of Resolution. They had an observer ward up on the hill, but then again, so did DC. They didn't really see much. It was just Resolution feeling confident enough to walk anywhere on the map. And SC, he actually goes into the Dragon form. You got a quick tether down, but the Lincoln Sphere triggers on Moon. That's exactly what we're talking about. The blink into, well, whatever it was to try and cancel it. Looks like he didn't actually commit the Dragon Tail.
And I think he really thought they were going to make that initiation onto the Wisp relocate back. But all DC really attempted, they just tried to poke at it with the split earth. Kept their distance for the most part. Shiva is going to be the next item for Weehaw. A big armor upgrade is necessary for him. He's dealt with the magic by picking up the BKB. If he can get this armor item, the Leshrac becomes not unkillable, but he's going to be close to, he's going to survive through every team fight most likely for the full duration of his BKB, and that's obviously needs a lot of magic damage output.
Resolution's got more control. He finished an Abyssal Blade at 27 minutes into this game.
Oh, yeah.
The BKB, like, Unai's gonna be like, oh, maybe now I can actually have an uninterrupted fight. But he already had the bashes coming in from the slide previously. Now you got that proper stun.
That's interesting. Resolution is quick buy, actually has Butterfly over Scotty. The big stat item has traditionally been the item choice of Slarks as they progress into the late game, but he's actually opting for the higher agility and the evasion opportunity. We'll see if he actually commits to that quick buy, though.
Might just be something he's got in his head as a build, and it's like, nope. Team decision later on. All Newbee can do is just wait while they continue to lose ground. Golden experience slipped the way of Digital Chaos.
Yeah, they don't really have good options to push out every single time. I mean, they need to, if they're not using smokes to be able to push out and gain control of the game, then they're going to have to buy gem, right? And then if they lose that gem, they're just stuck inside their base every single time they move out.
He's in close. He just blinked over, but he'll force up. He's got Burrow Strike in 1 second time, so he breaks the smoke. Newbee are trying something. But look at Resolution's position as well. He's running in behind. Then they're going to go straight into the back supports. At least the tether will come out. They've got the first kill. One trade-off though, and now in comes Weehaw. Blink it in, turn on the pulse, Nova. You've got the control. Maybe it will be. It's still a 2-for-1 trade-off. Resolution finally bashing into KP. He wants to remove this Underlord's presence. He's going to do it. The epicenter as well from Moon. Weehaw cops so much of the ultimate, but it still won't matter. DC are so strong right now. There's just nothing Newbee can do about this. They may even feel this is the game. It is 29 minutes in, and DC will level the series at 2 apiece.
Holy cow, I'm so impressed by DC here. I couldn't see like how this lineup was actually going to be able to stop what was a similar situation we saw in Game 3, but they just ran Newbee ragged in this Game 4, man. They just ran them all over the map. Moonmeander especially. That Sand King establishing dominance so early on in his lane and then turning that into so much more. The Lincoln's pickup was perfect. Newbee knew they were stuck inside their base. They had to do something drastic. They went for the smoke out, looked to see if they could get a pick, turn it into Roshan and change this game for themselves. But all that happened, Toby, is that they got lured into the nastiest team fight you've seen.
It really was, man. You looked at Newbee's early game though, like you had that DK and the IO together. You thought maybe they could tank through it, but it wasn't enough. And with that, we are going to a 5th game. We're going to burn the midnight oil right after this break and find a winner of ESL One.